Teacher Max here again, and welcome to today's video where I hope to teach you and help you improve your English listening skills. I am looking forward to today's story. If you have watched the other videos, you know our stories revolve around folktales. Folktales which I hope you know what that means by now. They are stories which are generally short and they're handed down from family to generation to family to generation, and sometimes they are changed, but they are all important because the folktales and the fable we are speaking about today, it teaches us morals and lessons, what we should learn and what is important. So we are speaking about the princess and the eagles today. Please listen carefully to this fable, to the story, because at the end, as you know, there are some questions. And no, you cannot go back and watch the video. You need to listen once and answer the questions. The Princess and the Eagles. Once upon a time, in a distant land, a far-off land, which some speculated, some believed it was a magical, enchanted kingdom, there lived a beautiful, breathtaking princess, which was beloved by the whole land. She was beautiful and kind and generous, and every time she saw an injured animal or someone in need, she would always stop and help them. The king loved his daughter very, very much, and he granted her every wish. But despite having everything, the princess sometimes she felt suffocated. She felt like she wanted to be free, a normal girl, run around, hide, get her feet dirty. But she understood that being a princess, there were boundaries. She needed to act like a princess. And she knew that her birthday was around the corner, and her father asked her to think what she would like. She thought long and hard, and finally, she decided she wanted some pet eagles. Not just any eagles, but the magnificent fish eagles with large wingspan that could soar high in the beautiful, brilliant blue sky. She wanted to look at them and feel free. This was an odd request, but nonetheless, the king, like the whole kingdom, loved the princess dearly, and he did not want to hurt or to break his daughter's heart, and told her he would find someone that will help her get the best, the most magnificent eagles in the land. Many days later, on the eve of her birthday, a bird trainer arrived with two magnificent animals. They were gorgeous, large wingspans, golden feathers. They perched up straight, they were graceful, and everybody in the land was speaking about these birds soon because the staff in the palace spoke about the magnificent animals. Then they told their families told their families, and the princess was delighted with her gift. However, although the trainer had told the king and the princess, he had trained both the eagles to come back home to find their food. So they weren't going to fly off and vanish into the wilderness. They were trained to come back and eat at home, so the princess wouldn't be sad and the birds wouldn't disappear into the wilderness. On the day of her birthday, the eagles arrived, and everyone gathered around the palace to look up at the birds because she wanted to see them fly. Remember, that was her heart's desire. She wanted to have freedom. So, as the trainer opened the sanctuary, a very delicately designed sanctuary the king had built, a big bird home for these eagles. Only one of the eagles took flight. Only one flew into the air, high, 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 past the clouds, past the rainbows, and it almost vanished. It looked like a speck up there in the blue sky. And the princess was clapping her hands. She was excited. Just looking at the eagle made her feel like she was free. But when she looked around, she couldn't spot the second eagle. And she knew there were two eagles. Because she had asked for two, she didn't want them to be lonely because she was very kind-hearted. However, when they turned around, the king and the princess, the second eagle was comfortably sitting perched on one of the branches in the bird sanctuary. It refused to move. It sat there happily, just gazing at everybody who was obviously excited to see him fly. Big golden feathers, brown feathers, long, sharp claws, sharp talons. But he seemed unperturbed. He seemed unbothered. He did not want to fly. So the princess didn't want to show her disappointment, but the king could see in her face that only one of the birds was flying, was out and about spreading its wings, and he could see that the princess was a little sad. So because he loved her so dearly, he told all his subjects, all the servants, that he would give a large reward to whoever could make the second eagle fly. The trainer tried, the trainer's friends tried, more trainers came from across the land, until a few days later, an older man walked up to the palace, and he told the king that he knew how to make this eagle fly. The king was standing and speaking to the trainer at that precise moment, telling the trainer, "I don't want to break my daughter's heart. Could you please convince her, tell her to find another pet, or tell her that, the eagle is unwell?" But the old man stopped him and said, "Your Majesty, I don't want to be rude. Give me a chance, and tomorrow morning you will find the bird flying." At this point, the king was desperate, but he welcomed the man in, and lo and behold, the next morning after breakfast, when the princess and the king went outside, they heard loud cheering and clapping hands, because not one, but two eagles were soaring through the clouds, and they were spiraling, and like a dance, they were flying next to each other. The crowd went ah, ooh, all in amazement. Both of the eagles were flying majestically in the bright blue sky. And when the trainer held his hand with some food, they both elegantly flew down and gracefully perched on the branch. The king was stupefied, taken aback, shocked, and he looked at the old man and asked him, "I need to ask you, sir, how did you manage to do what so many could not?" The old man smiled. "Your Majesty, all I did was cut down the branch which the second eagle had been sitting on." The king could not believe his ears. But the old man went on to explain. The bird, the second eagle, just like so many people, we get lazy, we get complacent, we don't want to do things, and then we forget about our talents and our opportunities. When I cut down the eagle's branch, which he had been sitting on, he realized he had strong, majestic wings that could be used to soar into the skies. When he had nowhere to sit, he flew and he realized his talent and his potential. That day, the king and the beautiful princess, and in fact the whole kingdom, learned a very valuable lesson. That we should never forget our talents. We should not be lazy. We should make use of all the opportunities that is presented to us, and we should work hard to achieve our goals. Isn't that a wonderful story? Let us look at the questions. I will read them with you and give you a few minutes to complete them and help you with the answers. Question number 1. Ding, 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 ding. Why did the princess want to have pet eagles? Why not horses or cats or dog? Why eagles? Despite getting the most exquisite, the most beautiful eagles in the land, there was a problem with the eagles. What was it? What did the king, question number 3, suggest when he hired a bird trainer? What did he tell his bird trainer to tell the princess? Number 4, how did the bird trainer, or the old man more likely, how did the old man surprise the king and the princess when nobody else could? How did he get the eagle to fly? And what is the moral of the story? Please press pause, take a few minutes, write down the answers or say them out loud. Let's see if your listening skills have been improving. You should be getting 5 out of 5. Please press pause now. If you press play, welcome back. Let us look at the questions together. Number 1. Why did the princess want the eagles? The princess had all her heart's desires. So she had everything she wanted in the world. But she was somewhat stifled. She wanted to feel free. Her hearts. She thought the eagles were ideal pets to represent freedom. So if you said she wanted to be free or she wanted freedom, the birds made her feel free. That is all correct. Number 2, despite getting or obtaining the beautiful birds, what was the problem? Not both eagles seem happy to be released into their new home. The one eagle refused to fly and it sat perched on the branch. So perched is what birds do. They sit on the branch like this. They're perching. All birds perch on branches. Number 3, what did the king suggest when he hired the bird trainer? Yes, this king loved his daughter so much, he suggested the bird trainer convince his lovely daughter one eagle was enough, or that she should try to get a different pet. Number 4, how did the old man surprise the king and the princess? Yes, the old man, he cut the branch off which the second eagle had been sitting on. What a clever man. Telling them the eagle had gotten lazy and needed encouragement to fly. What is our moral? The moral of the story is that we all have opportunities in our lives, like the birds that have wings to fly. But like the second eagle, we don't use our talents or our opportunities, and we become lazy and we sit around and we play games and do nothing. We must always try our best and work hard to achieve our goals. Wow, what a beautiful moral. What a good story. I hope you liked it. As much as I like teaching you, please stay tuned. There are many more videos. I will see you soon. Bye. Thank you. Okay. Now it is time for the questions. I hope you have been listening carefully. Remember, there is no rush. You are more than welcome to press pause after our questions and then compare them to my answers. Let's read number 1, please. What is the difference between the baker and the florist? What jobs do they do? Number 2, how did the aroma, the smell of the freshly baked bread, make the florist feel? Do you think the baker's actions were reasonable? Were they good actions? Were they bad? Why? What did the judge decide the outcome for the florist and the baker was? So what did the judge do? And finally, what is the moral of the story? Please kindly can you press pause, and when you are ready and you have written down your answers or verbally spoke them out loud, then you can press play. 3, 2, 1, pause. Bing, 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 bing. If you have just pressed play, welcome back. Let us have a quick look at our answers. I hope you get them all right. Not 2 out of 5, but 5 out of 5. Number 1, what is the difference in the jobs, the occupations? A baker bakes bread and cakes while a florist looks after and sells flowers in a shop. Easy peasy, right? Number 2, how did the aroma of the freshly baked bread make the florist feel? The scents coming from the bakery made the florist feel happy. Despite having so little, she appreciated the delicious smells. She was so happy just to smell all the smells, even if she had nothing in the world to offer. Do you think the baker's actions were reasonable? Were they good? Were they bad? No. The baker was unreasonable because he baked the bread. So the smell is caused by him. He cannot ask people to pay for the smell as well as pay for the bread and the goodies he is selling in his shop. What did the judge do? This was funny. What did he decide for the florist and the baker? What was the outcome? The judge asked the florist to rattle some coins in her hands. Do you remember? So the baker could hear them and get the satisfaction from the moving money sound. So you smell it, now you can hear the coins. It's almost the same aspect. It's quite funny. The moral of the story: we should always remember to treat people with honesty and also fairly, and we should not be ruled by our greed. There's a lot of this greed coming out through all the fables. People shouldn't be greedy. They should be helpful. They should want to share. They should be nice, be kind, don't judge. Thank you so much for joining our video today. I am so excited. I have many more videos that I would like to help you improve your English listening, writing, and speaking abilities. Stay tuned. I will see you soon. Bye.